The camera, a three-dimensional tool that captures real-life images producing two-dimensional format. It is often said that the camera never lies, and this was perhaps true prior to the use of digital enhancement. So why does the brain sometimes see an image of oneself, either in a mirror or in a photo, and depict it as a negative body image? Eating disorders are a concerning worldwide issue, especially affecting high school students. In this light, it is important for social workers and teachers to be accurately aware of this disorder and assist individuals affected. Teachers and welfare staff at school presented with an individual who displays the following symptoms could indicate the student is suffering from an eating disorder. It is important for social workers and teachers to know how to identify these symptoms with high school students, especially girls being the most affected age group. Many values are challenged when individuals are experiencing eating disorder behaviours. To define values, they are goals or beliefs that guide one's behaviour and influences one's evaluation of other behaviours and events. When individuals experience new things and situations, our values can alter for the better, enabling us to see situations from a different angle. People with eating disorders' values can change. However, their change supports their reasoning to adopt eating disorder behaviours. Values of self-worth, health, well-being, happiness and image are all compromised when people with eating disorders believe the only way to achieve these values is through being skinny. These individuals don't feel worthy of any values unless they are thin, and this is why compromised values of relationships and personality. Relationship values can break as those affected with eating disorders tend to isolate themselves from family and friends, especially socialising. For example, individuals will avoid ordering dessert or even going out for dinner because it can expose to others their eating disorder behaviours. These individuals then believe it is more important not to socialise and risk exposing their eating disorder behaviours, thus depleting their values of relationship.
Shocking statistics. About 1 in every 10 Australians has an eating disorder. 90% of people with anorexia are female. Mortality rates are almost twice as high for people with eating disorders than in the general population.
Sorry, Sammy, cutting in there. Eating disorders have about the same prevalence as anxiety and depression amongst the general population in Australia, and yet we don't hear half so much about them. It's an issue that we looked at last year on Weekend Sunrise, and given those stats, we perhaps shouldn't have been surprised by the size of the reaction that story got. Now, a young woman living with the disease says she's had enough. Elle Graham has launched a campaign called Fed Up, aimed at raising awareness of the shortage of treatment options. Let's talk more about that with Christine Morgan from the Butterfly Foundation and clinical psychologist Olivia Patrick. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
These are really serious illnesses. It's not your fault and something can be done. We're certainly seeing it. We've got a national support line and certainly we're seeing an increase in calls, particularly Olivia and I were just saying, particularly from guys, from family members of guys, and interestingly we're also getting quite a lot of calls from older women who say we've had this for 20 years but we have never told anybody about it.
Right. Yeah. So it's changing. The face of it is really changing.
I think that's a really good way to put it. I think that it's beginning to see perhaps what happened with depression years ago, where suddenly it was seen this isn't just a case of I can't get out of bed and willpower. Yeah. It's an actual illness.
So we've come to understand that depression is not just extreme sadness or lethargy or whatever. Yeah. For those who don't know much about eating disorders, myself included, what is the generally accepted, psychological or chemical basis for the disorder?
Well, it's definitely multifaceted. I mean, there's known to be a genetic predisposition for certain eating disorders, but societal, cultural, behavioural factors can all kind of set it off and trigger it off. So it's really difficult to pinpoint one particular cause, and obviously media and...
As just viewed, Sunrise highlights that in 2013, 1 in 10 Australians had an eating disorder. This media article on eating disorders highlight how frequent this social problem is becoming. Guest speakers from the Butterfly Foundation drew attention to a link between depression, eating disorders and society. Just like depression, eating disorders are viewed by society as a choice, not a problem/condition. The public commonly place blame on individuals with eating disorders, suggesting that they have control over their self-inflicted illness. However, finally, through research and education, people are now having an informed understanding of this condition. However, just like depression, the frequency of eating disorders are in today's society more common. Eating disorders and body image issues have unfortunately increased worldwide over the last 30 years. With these statistics, it equates to approximately 9% of the population affected by this disorder. Specifically, eating disorders develop frequently in individuals between the ages of 13 and 18. With this age bracket in mind, high school students are most at risk, and the common eating disorders found in high school students are anorexia, bulimia, and obesity. We need to acknowledge this data is not entirely accurate. Unfortunately, a common problem with collecting data is that a large portion of individuals do not realise they have an eating disorder. Therefore, the results gathered by NEDC only highlight the statistics for individuals who have been diagnosed or treated for eating disorders. While there are multiple reasons why people develop eating disorders, 2 common explanations are socio-cultural influences and the actual individual. Socio-cultural reasons. Authors highlight that media has focused on idolisation of thinness in individuals, especially women, resulting in the pressure to be thin. The media creates an ideal image that these young individuals should have. This makes teenagers have low self-esteem issues, resulting in them trying dieting techniques. This point of view can be easily assessed by young people reading magazines and the internet. All age brackets can easily access the internet, and it is not broken down into age or developmental appropriate areas. Thus, without supervision, it is easy for young people to unintentionally or purposely find content. Content can cause individuals to believe that their body image is not positive and provide information on how to look perfect in an easy and quick way. Sociocultural factors can also be family members. For example, if a mother or father is dissatisfied with their body image, negative comments, and show dieting behaviours and pressures to lose weight, this is proven to reflect on their children, increasing the risk of them developing an eating disorder. Individual reasons. Genetics and biology are individual factors that play a role in the development of eating disorders. Abnormalities in neurochemicals and mutations in 2 specific genes are linked closely to developing eating disorders. Moreover, individuals who give in to peer influences to conform have been an explanation for individuals to develop eating disorders. This individual factor of peer pressure is seen greatly in female students at high school. Girls this age learn and are pressured into the concept of how important it is to be thin, dieting, behaviours and conversations about body image. Failure to conform can potentially lead to teasing and feeling of isolation. In summary, as social workers and teachers, we need to know how to reduce the risk of eating disorders or how to identify individuals suffering from this disorder. Firstly, programs that can help reduce the numbers affected, promote self-worth, self-awareness and personal identity to students. This enables them to manage their emotional, mental, spiritual and physical well-being. Physical education classes are essential in the curriculum to promote healthy eating, lifestyles, wellness and physical activity. These classes should increase awareness of eating disorders and should not be limited to just PE classes. Education about body image, disordered eating, the risks of dieting and eating disorders is an important aspect of all school health and wellbeing programs. Efforts to promote positive body image and healthy lifestyle choices should be integrated into every school's teaching program. Each school should set out a clear policy with regards to what strategies they will employ for the prevention, early intervention and management of eating disorders. Primary prevention strategies provide an opportunity for all students to engage in regular physical activity in a non-competitive, non-weight loss focused, safe and secure environment. Provide a balance of food options from all food groups in a canteen. Display public materials, posters including a wide diversity of body shapes and sizes. Promote healthy eating at the school canteen, including a wide range of options. Early intervention strategies. Strategies for early intervention include early detection and early treatment for high school students suffering from eating disorders. The school welfare team will generally deal with these problems. When dealing with an individual suffering from eating disorders, apply Ruberton and Weinberg's 5 different types of knowledge. 1. Procedural knowledge, policy, legislation and organisational rules. Understand, implement the school and government policy. 2. Theoretical knowledge. Enable the profession to explain, describe, predict and control the world. Previous situations that you have dealt will enable you to automatically know how to address this. Empirical knowledge. Knowledge derived from research. Research different studies which explain different treatment options, how the individual feels, and how to deal with the situation. This will provide guidance and insight into handling this. Personal knowledge. These are intrusive knowledge, cultural knowledge, and common sense. In a situation with a student, you apply what should be done through common sense and your values. Practice wisdom, community advice, asking teachers and other social workers what they did when in the same situation will provide insight on what is needed to be implemented. Prevention programs are essential to reduce the amount of individuals suffering from eating disorders. 51% of eating disorder prevention programs actually reduce eating disorder risk factors. Although this number is not high, it still highlights that prevention programs are helping some individuals in a society.